what's the difference in, let's say, the rate of gain if someone is going to failure versus one in the tank, or let's say two in the tank? And then I also get questions about my volume personally, because a lot of people kind of think it's low, but in reality, I mean, it's really not low because the intensity level is there. And maybe my one rep in the tank might be someone else's failure in comparison, just because of the skill level and that type of thing. So that's a question more for you, Eric, I guess. Like, what would be the difference? Like the rate of gain, because that's a question that's always asked. And really, I've never heard like a specific answer. I don't even know if there is one, really.
Maybe one day, like when I'm involved with some research where we actually go, all right, look, we're going to only compare volitional to non-failure, or only going to compare the studies that specified momentary muscular failure to others. And I think those effect size estimates would probably give us something. But when we look at the actual, like when we look at these comparisons and we try to get an idea of like how large of an effect is there from going to failure, that can maybe tell us something. And in general, when you're looking at like these meta-analyses, they report a couple things. The standard things you're going to see is a standardized mean difference, which is a description of the effect size. And normally the way we categorize effect sizes, if we were to, because sometimes you'll have different things. Like one is an estimate of cross-sectional area of like your quad, and the other one is your bicep muscle thickness. And we're comparing them together as a quote-unquote hypertrophy outcome. So what you have to do is, because I can't compare like millimeters of thickness to the area in centimeters cubed or whatever of another muscle. So you standardize those metrics to mathematically compare them. So you get the standardized mean difference. And generally we consider a small effect between like 0.2 to like 0.49, a moderate effect 0.5 to 0.79, and the large is 0.8 or higher. And if it's less than a 0.2 effect, it's considered trivial. Like it's pretty small, and typically those effects aren't even significantly different. So when we're talking about the effect sizes that are observed when you're comparing failure to non-failure, they're in the, especially when you equate volume, they're like in the small range. Like the larger one, Gurgic, it was like a 0.22 effect size in favor of failure that was non-significant for all the studies together. So I think the accurate view is that if you're doing a low volume program, you might have slightly better gains than if you're going to failure versus not. And what is the actual rate? Well, shit, man. Like sometimes, like here's the thing. That standardized mean difference is the average of the averages, right? So we got this study with like 20 people in two groups. One dude had like Ronnie Coleman-like gains from him doing this study, and the other person made some gains. And both of them, though, might have had small gains for them. Because as we know, some people one day end up winning Mr. Olympia, and some people, their family goes, I think you don't look skinny anymore. So like we all have different potential, and those are being aggregated. So overall, what I can say is if we're comparing low volume programs, you might have a small benefit at best from training to failure. But I think we can't state any more than that. And I think if you are training with moderate or higher volumes, there is a potential negative of going to failure. We haven't quantified it yet. I don't have hard data to back that up. But if you put a gun to my head and we extrapolated from the time course of fatigue and what is probably more likely to be the net kind of collective benefits that you would get from a good program, it'd be something kind of in the middle of everywhere.